How's it going, folks? My name is Matthew, aka EZBOT, and today we're going to take a look at Tonverk OS 1.30, which I'm considering a complete game changer for the Elektron Tonverk. It kind of takes it to a new spectral place that it wasn't able to go to before. And kind of isn't the right word. It absolutely does. The Tonverk now is a synthesizer, like just a typical, fantastic synthesizer. And what I mean by typical is like, I'm not kind of like faking my way into synthesis with like single cycle waveforms like I like to do with my samplers. I now have a full-on synth engine in the Tonverk. It's very powerful. It's kind of like having a little serum engine inside your Tonverk. It's fantastic because it paired with the effects and all the new capabilities that Tonverk OS 1.30 has brought to the Tonverk. We now have kind of a super synth that didn't exist in the Elektron lineup until now. So the Tonverk has surpassed my expectations so far. At first, I was a little confused about what to do with this box, but now with OS 1.30, and I mean at first, when it first was released compared to today, which is now just got all the features that I asked for and all the features that I expected are now all inside the box and then some. And there's some stuff that isn't even addressed in the OS 1.30 that I want to point out kind of right off the bat because it was one of the coolest things that I discovered. Maybe it's something that I missed from a previous update, but I don't think I did, but it's snuck into the OS here. So what we're going to do in this live stream is we're going to go over, like we do in every live stream when an OS update comes, we're going to go over the entire patch notes and we're going to demonstrate it, look at it, talk about it. And in the meantime, I'll kind of give a little bit of my thoughts on the updates and maybe stuff that I like, maybe stuff that I don't like, share a little bit of my opinion here and there. But otherwise, we're just going to get started and grind through this OS update. We'll try and keep this around in under an hour if I can. We'll see. This is a big update. There's a lot of cool stuff, and we're going to mess with these wavetables. So let's check it out. Here it is. This is the Tonverk. This is the new engine called Wave Finder, which is cool. I actually really like the name of the engine, so I'm pleased with the name. And I was surprised when I first booted this up to find that it's actually a dual wavetable synthesizer. Pretty powerful. And what I have in this current engine right here is just a single wavetable. It is an additive wavetable. It's additive to additive. And I do want to point out just at the beginning of the stream for everybody here that I am using my own wavetables in here. Elektron does offer 60 free wavetables with the OS update. And then I thought they sounded great. They're really fantastic wavetables. But I also made 1,000 wavetables that you can pick up yourself, available on my Patreon or on my Ko-fi page. And I'll just point that out really quickly, just at the beginning here, so you can jump in, have fun with them right away. So you can snag those. We're also going to be using this window to look at that. But you can find the wavetable pack on Ko-fi.com, 1,000 wavetables built for the Tonverk, and 1,000 wavetables for my Patreon built for the Tonverk. And you can pick them up there, but you can also just go to my Discord and download a free pack of 50 wavetables just from the Discord announcement channels. So you don't have to like get 1,000 of them if you don't want to, but you can get a free pack of 50 just from my Discord. So go over there, download the free pack, put them on your Tonverk, have fun. They're fantastic wavetables. They work great, they sound awesome, and they'll just give you a much larger palette to play with. So with that being said, let's look back at the Tonverk. So this is an additive to additive wavetable. So additive synthesis is like adding harmonics across the waveform. And I don't maybe want to use an additive to additive because it kind of goes from like distorted to distorted when I'm doing that. So maybe we want to try another wavetable. So let's look at another wavetable. I'll go in here, and as you can see, I have a million wavetables. Let's try going from sine. Let's go from sine or pulse to sine. Pulse to supersaw. This could be cool. Let's take a look. So there you can see the waveform morphing. And this is what wavetables do. They interpolate between one waveform to the next waveform. And so you can get these like really cool spots. And what's really unique about this wavetable synth engine is that there's two of these. So you can load up a second slot by pressing the down arrow, and you can grab another wavetable. You can have 127 or 128, because I believe 0 is one. No, 127 total wavetables. In your wavetable selection. So pretty sick. I'll turn this one down and we can listen to this one now. And what's fantastic about it is you can repitch them, you can change the level of them, you can parameter lock the wavetables in your sequence, which is insane. So like the stuff, I mean, this is typical Elektron stuff where you can just do a million things with your Tonverk or with your Elektron box where you can parameter lock the actual waveforms. But then you can also parameter lock the animators, how quickly the animators move, which is pretty cool. Let's jump back over to that. Let's get this starting to do some animation. You can see it's going across like the whole waveform. This is so cool. And it sounds awesome. So here's just like using a wavetable with some filtering and a daisy delay to start making some like dub techno type background sounds. This is using two wavetables. And it just sounds so good. I have a compressor on it too to make this like really snappy. So far I've been nothing but pleased with this wavetable engine. So very cool engine. We're very happy to have this. The idea that we can load up more than one wavetable is insane. The idea that we can parameter lock the animators, the positions, the speed, the wavetables that we're using, it's just crazy. So you can go in and just go ham on all this stuff. And let's see really quick. I'm gonna mute this track. And then I'm gonna go to my setup really quick. Change this to mono. And then I want to parameter lock some stuff in here, like different waveforms. And also parameter lock different positions in those waveforms. And maybe even different levels. Different animators, different speeds. I mean, just kind of crazy that I'm able to do this kind of like insane morphing that's happening. Anyway, very cool. I mean, this is just throwing triggers down and just parameter locking everything that I possibly can just to see what happens, because I haven't done that quite yet. But it looks like it works pretty well. I really like the idea that I can parameter lock wavetables themselves. That's pretty nutty. Like, how cool is that? That is so cool. mean, the Tonverk sounds awesome. So, I mean, this is just the wave finder that we're messing with right now. There's so much more to talk about in the OS update. And the thing that I wanted to mention that I thought was so cool that I noticed in this update that maybe existed in the other updates, but I noticed it here is this. Check this out. So I'm playing with track 6 right now and messing with sounds, whatever. Say I'm doing a production and working on something, and I want to go and route stuff into a bus, and then maybe I want to play with my send effects. Okay. Usually, my experience has been that when I go to a track like this and I touch the keyboard, it won't make the sound of the last track that I was using. Same with my sends. The keyboard would do nothing. It becomes void. Check this out. I'm on track 6. I go over here and I want to have something affect track 6. I can still use my keyboard. I get to audition the sound that I might route into track 9. So let's go here and route that into, or no, because I'm on this one. So let's go back here, route that into bus 1, and then I can go to bus 1 and still play with this sound. Then I can actually audition the stuff that's happening on this track. It's absolutely bonkers that this is, I mean, this is how it should have worked to begin with, in my opinion, but isn't that fantastic? That it works this way? I mean, it completely changes the experience on here, because man, it was just such a pain when you were routing things into buses, but then you wanted to adjust something on the bus. You had to have it programmed in the sequence, run the sequencer, then go to the bus track and make an adjustment. That's a thing of the past now. People who just bought the Tonverk are only going to know this wonderful experience. That's kind of the thing about, I'm jealous of the people who are picking up Tonverks now, because they're picking up a Tonverk that does multi-sampling, has this awesome, all these awesome effects, this multi-bus type scenario, and then it has an actual synth engine in it as well as a granular synth engine. I mean, this thing is definitely turning into a powerhouse of a device, but that's not all. There's so much more happening in Tonverk OS 1.3, but I wanted to point that out because I thought that was honestly one of the biggest upgrades, is the fact that I can still trigger sounds while I'm jumping around in my sends. So let's move on to what we see in the OS update. We're going to go back to the computer and take a look at it together. So right now we just looked at Wavefinder, dual oscillator wavetable machine, and yeah, there's a lot of dope stuff on there, but there's even more cool stuff. Added wavetable stock content, which is great. Those wavetables are really good. Elektron chose them very well. Added choke group functionality in subtracks. Okay, let's jump back over to the Tonverk. Take a look at choke group functionality. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with choke group. It is just for subtracks. Subtracks are now called instruments. This is a new thing that is confusing people. This thing called instruments, because this is another thing that we're going to see in the OS update. Subtracks are an instrument. Multisamples are an instrument. Instruments are not one-shot machines or granular synth machines or wavefinder machines or MIDI machines. They are those two subcategories, and they have to do with loading multiple samples. So something that has its own sample pool and multiple samples, those are instruments. And that's what that means by when they say instrument. Okay, so let's take a look at this choke group thing really quick. So I'm going to go over to my subtrack that I have, and let's get some sounds going in this subtrack. Single samples, go to my favorite stuff. That sounds nice. And then let's go to this one. I want to go to sub 2. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's put that in sub 2. Sub 3. Okay, we don't want that. I didn't mean to do that. Let's go back. Sub 3, I want my clap. That'll work. On sub 6, I want a hi-hat. That'll work. On sub 7, I want an open hat so that we can do our choke group demonstration. Can we find an open hat? Might have to use a ride or something. My goodness. I think that's long enough to probably show it off. Okay, so on subgroup 7, I'm going to go, so on 6, we already have some hats programs. On 7, I'm going to put one like right here. Oh, maybe I'll do that. Need that. Yeah. Cool. Choke groups. That's nice. Now we can do some realistic sounding drums with their subtracks. We could also choke chords and vocals and all sorts of stuff and do some weird workflows that I haven't thought about doing on a subtrack before. I'd love to see what people come up with for that. But that's great. So now we've got choke groups on our subtracks. Well, first we need to set up our choke group. So what am I talking about? That wasn't even choked yet. Subtrack assignment is in my... Yes. We need to go into choke groups, and I need to choke 6 and... There we go. Now it'll actually choke. Choke group A. Yes, assign. There we go. That's how we do our choke groups. That's pretty cool. I hadn't even done it yet. Sounds great though. All right, so moving on. Let's keep cooking. Serum built in TV. For real. It kind of is Serum built into a TV, aka Tonverk. Okay, it is now possible. Oh, wait. Okay, added choke group. Several arpeggiator parameters can now be randomized, and they can be parameter locked. So let's just go through this whole thing in one little thing. Let's check out the arpeggiator. Put me over here. Let's get a new sound. I'm gonna go like this, and I guess we'll go here. Might as well use this. Sounds crazy. What is it on 9? Let's turn that off. Okay, let's go back to this track. Turn on the arpeggiator. Let's go into our arpeggiator. Okay, so let's put down a chord. That works. So let's just go step edit. Get our minor 7 chord. And then let's give it some trig length. We'll just have it do a full bar, because that's where we have that. We still have to go over that part. That's pretty cool sounding, whatever. That wavetable synth engine is so good sounding. All right, let's lock in some stuff. So we can, like, let's just throw some some random parameter locks. Hold function, press down on your keyboard, and you can throw in some trigless trigs or just parameter locked triggers. They won't re-trigger a sample or notes. So what we can do is we can adjust the speed. We could have this one like slow way down. And this one could bring it up to back up to 16, but then do 2 octaves. This one can make the notes be longer and go up to 3 octaves, but slow it way down. And then get rid of that one. Maybe for a short minute, we'll just do this like note blast of its fastest speed. That's crazy. That's pretty cool. I mean, just the weird stuff that you can do. I mean, I'm literally just throwing triggers down and just randomly grabbing spots. But that is pretty cool. I love stuff like this. Now I'm kind of curious. What happened with my chord? Let's get this condition. A conditional trig on an arpeggiator change. What? What is going on? This thing is crazy. This is like almost... What? What is this machine doing? Let's have this change our wavetable. Whoa. What? Slot. So it's randomly choosing a new wavetable for my wavetable set. Position would be cool. That was crazy. That is so cool. This is my first time exploring doing that exactly. Okay, so check this out. Look at the cut. Look at what's happening here. We got green, yellow, orange, purple. All sorts of crazy stuff happening. I mean, it's pretty colorful what's happening on my Tonverk right now. We're using a bunch of features. We're using the new wave finder. We are using the new arpeggiator. We're using subtracks with choke groups, all to make this like crazy. That sounds dope. That was cool. I mean, it sounds like music I've never made before, that's for sure. I've never made anything that sounded like that in my life. And it sounded like neat, like interesting. Okay, let's continue on with the OS update. This is just bonkers, dude. This is bonkers. I'm gonna have to actually start using this at my shows now. It's now possible to live record parameter locking the arpeggiator's parameter settings. Oh my god, did we skip that? Whoops. That sounds pretty cool. What? Okay, I don't even know what's going on. That's really cool. That's crazy sounding. There's gonna be some really crazy stuff happening on the Tonverk. All right, let's continue on. It's now possible to edit steps. Yes, we did that. Added undo and redo support for paste and clear operations and the parameter pages. Last time I saw something about the undo redo function, I had a hard time actually getting it to do what I wanted it to do. So if I did pasted a value, I can undo and redo it. Let's see what happens. So if I go to track 7 and we take this effects window and we copy it. Yes, page 1 of 3. That's nice that it says page 1 of 3. And we go here and I paste it. Can I undo that? I can. All right, never mind. It works great. Okay, cool. We got that figured out. Continuing on. Keep having to hit this button here. That's pretty cool. Uh, Flash muted track and subtrack. Oh, added the possibility to prepare muting and unmuting of tracks and subtracks. Okay, this is super fire. This is something that I heavily rely on the Digitac 2 and the Digatone 2. I think they added it to Syntact. I'm forgetting right now, but probably in Syntact, I believe so. I believe it is. Yes. I rely on this a lot in my live performances. I needed this to be available for this box to work the way that it works with my other boxes. Because when I play live, the Digitac 2 and the Digitone 2, I do a lot of queuing up my mutes. And what I mean is, you go into your mute mode, you hold function, and you select stuff that you intend to mute, and you let go. It does the mute action. And now you can do this with not only just track mutes, you can do it with subtracks. This is my subtrack, so I can queue up subtracks and mute and unmute them. Pretty dope. And then it also says that when things are muted, it'll flash to let you know that it's muted, like it is with the kick drum that's on that track. Cool. All right, that's dope. Well, that track went crazy. I think we're gonna have to get rid of that now. Just have that little choke group of that hat closing right when the closed hat comes in. When the open hat closes when the closed hat comes in, because of the choke group is what I mean to say. Really adds some flavor to this pattern. I don't know. I did a little bit of micro timing with stuff to make it sound nice earlier before I started the stream. All right, here we go. Back on to here. Added instrument menu in the file browser when you can save and export instruments. We did talk about this. I'll just show it off super fast. So we can just iron that out so you can understand it 100%. So I do have a subtrack on here. If I want to save it, I can go to my file window or function file. I think it should be the other way around. I think it should be function. I think it should just go straight to this menu when I go function and hit that instead of it being this menu, because this menu is pointless. I don't know what to do with this menu. You can't even audition sounds. Function yes will just load the sound. So I don't know what it does. But when I want to save an instrument, I hit yes, go to the instrument. I can go save as, and now I can save an instrument. Like I was saying, instruments are subtracks and they're multi-samples. Those are instruments. I can't pretend to understand exactly what they mean with the instrument thing for subtracks and multi-samples and why that's different from a preset and why they have to make that distinction. But I guess they did. They must have a good reason for it inside the coding of the instrument. I don't know. I didn't need it, but I'm probably glad it's there. I just don't know why yet. Does that make sense? Okay. Well, that's what it does. You can export them. You can save them. Why do you want to export an instrument versus save an instrument? Because you can export it. And it saved it. And yeah. Not sure what I'm going to do with the export thing. I haven't read about that in the manual yet. Okay, let's jump back over. Okay. Song row mutes are now available in the song edit. Oh yeah, this is totally dope. Check this out. So this is going to make everybody who's into song mode very happy because we now have a legit song mode on the Tonverk. Like actual song mode, the song mode that you expect from Digitac 2 and Digitone 2. We'll go into our song, choose our song, go edit our song. And now you can see here that we have the mute section. You can mute your subtracks. I mean, you can't mute your subtracks, but you can mute the subtrack. You can mute your effects tracks, is what I mean to say. Your effects sends, tempo per track, the amount it plays, all of that. So full-on song mode. We now have the song mode fully implemented into Tonverk. Pretty great. We're glad it's there. Okay, moving back on. You can now choose which sequencer pages in the pattern should loop. All right, this is amazing. This is another feature. This is honestly, I love Wavefinder, don't get me wrong. I think it's really cool. I'm glad that it's in the Tonverk. I don't even need the Wavefinder compared to me needing this feature as well as the other feature I talked about at the beginning. And what I mean by this feature is page loop. So when you go into your step editor, hold down page, and then you have the option. We got to get out of song mode first. Hold on. Hold down page, press down, and you can now change what the page button does. You can set it to loop pages. So right now mine's set up to loop pages, so I can loop pages 1 through 16. And this is just your classic page loop from the Digitac 2 and the Digitone 2. Now I'm calling it classics. We've had it for a little while. But we have 16 pages on the Tonverk, right? So we can page loop 16 bars on the Tonverk, which is really necessary. If you're going to work in a 16 bar pattern, you need to be able to page loop that very last bar. You're not going to wait. Do you want to wait 16 bars to program a chord that's at 100 BPM on the 16th bar? Like, that's bananas. That sounds awful. That's a terrible experience. And that was the experience up until this morning. So now we can just hold this down and we can loop bar 16. I don't have a bar 16 in this pattern, but that's what it can do. And you can loop all sorts of stuff. It's great for live performance because you can just like mix and match bars. So like you can have your whole show be that you write, 16 one bar sequences within a single sequence where you've just like parameter locked a bunch of crazy stuff. And then you could just loop segments like this so that it goes from 5 to 8 to 14 to 16. And then the next part of your song, it goes like that. And like you can use this as like a live performance setup if you want to get creative. That's just a cool idea, right? Not something I've done on my Tonverk. It's just something that I've thought about doing and I'm sharing with you now. So cool that we can do that in a much needed feature. I think this feature paired with the ability to go to a track and make sounds while also editing send effects is the most important thing that got added to the Tonverk, to me. Those two things make the Tonverk feel easy. They make it feel easy to navigate it and make it feel easier to write music. I was really having a hard time getting into the machine because I felt like I kept running into these walls that were pushing back at me. And now I feel like there's doors to walk through to get to where I want to go when I'm making music on the Tonverk. So pretty cool. I'm excited about that. Okay, the onboard keyboard range has been expanded. I think we've heard enough of that. Added in an option to personalize menus to remember the last subpage. Added an option to personalize menus to automatically copy trigs. Added shortcuts to the LED intensity and the backlight settings. And the active subtrack is now remembered after reboot. The file browser now remembers the last location you visited when selecting samples and wavetables. That's really nice. Let's take a look at the personalized menu really quick, just so we can make sure that we've covered everything. Sorry, I was reading the chat for a sec. Okay, we go to our personalized menu. Look at all the new stuff we have. LED intensity. Let's bring that down, make it easier for people to see on YouTube and easier on my eyes. Remember subpage, I think is really nice. Page auto copy is something I'm very used to, so I don't want to take it off. Turning off LED black backlight seems crazy to me. I don't know why you would ever do that. But I guess somebody has a reason, maybe for photography or something. I don't really know. That's cool. We do have this new audio routing thing that I think we're about to get to. Let's take a look. Improved sample naming procedure when using the auto sampler. That would mean we'd have to auto sample something to look into that, which we're not set up to do. So I don't think we're going to do that. But that's cool to know that it's better because it was bad. Must mean that you can change the sample name at any time. Because before you actually had to change the multi-sample name during the multi-sampling process, or it wouldn't work, which was weird. But now that's no longer the count, or no longer the process. All right. Added per pattern mode in the page setup. Okay, which you already saw, but you didn't maybe realize this, but you didn't actually have this, which is kind of crazy, right? But you didn't have this. So now when you go function page, you can go function yes, and you can do a per project mode or a per pattern mode. Per pattern mode is always how I work. I use pattern mutes. I use pattern scaling on a per track basis, but you can also set it up to be just a master length, which was something that one of the developers, when they were talking to me about this, was really excited about this particular feature more than any other feature for their own workflow, which was interesting to hear, because I was like, I kind of like what was going on before was already working for me. But now we have this, which you can expect, and something you were looking for. If you're coming from Digitakt 2, Digitone 2, or Syntakt, you expected this to already be implemented, but now we have it. So we're really coming into line that this box is really just a bit of a wider unit than the Digitone 2 and the Digitakt 2, with a much crazier feature set currently with the effects and wavetables and stuff like that. We're getting through this. There's still some more to go, but we're almost done. Added support for MIDI sustain pedal. Great. I mean, I'm not going to use it, but that's pretty cool for a lot of people who'd want to use that. CC64, CC66, that's great. Improve the encoder response on certain parameters. This I can't demonstrate for you, but I can tell you that I noticed this already as I was using the Tonverk, because I felt like the parameters would like leap ahead. I would turn the encoder and it would kind of just like go to this like really far position. Now it feels a lot more like it does with the Digitakt 2, Digitone 2, where the encoders just feel much better. And this was a really welcome improvement for me because it was feeling kind of odd. I have this kind of like muscle memory on how hard I have to turn the encoders or how quickly I have to turn them to achieve certain values, and now it's becoming more in line. It's still different on Tonverk because it's just a completely different CPU inside here, so I think it's just processing things a little bit differently than the other boxes, but it's much closer than it was, and I'm very happy about that. Toast messages can now be dismissed by pressing a parameter encoder or by pressing page. That's cool. It's good to be able to dismiss the messages. That can be annoying. Added an audio routing menu with settings for routing audio from the external inputs and USB audio. Let's check that out. Going into audio routing. All right, we have an external input gain. We have external audio in to pattern. Or based on the pattern, out A and B, out E and F, which is your headphones. We have a USB audio in. USB audio in can go into your pattern, or directly out A and B, or out C and D, or out E and F. Interesting. Why was it set on out A and B by default, which is the master out? Maybe because it's just meant for auditioning and not meant for processing? Is that the idea? They don't want it to go through the pattern because they don't want it to go through all the effects? Because you're probably just doing sampling from like Serum or Ableton? I don't know what the idea was with that being the default setting. Not sure. But this is pretty cool. It's pretty cool that we have this USB and external audio in routing that we can do in general. So basically you can choose how your audio routing chain works. So like say you wanted to bring some instruments in through your Tonverk, but you didn't necessarily want it to get processed through any of the effects. I guess you could skip them on and go just straight to the outputs if you wanted, or have it just come straight into your headphones. That's cool. There's that 12 dB gain that we always see on all Elektron stuff. All right. Will Tonverk ever get copy, paste, and pattern mutes? It has copy, paste, and pattern mutes. What do you mean? It is way beyond that. It has a loop. It has like it has prep mutes even, not just pattern mutes. It has prepare mutes. It's got all that stuff, my friend. Where you been hiding? Where you been? Okay. It is now unsupported SFZ opcodes are now ignored rather than rejected. It is now possible to use data entry knobs to set values in menus. That's cool. It is now possible to reset the keyboard transposition to 0 by pressing plus and minus at the same time. I did a track transpose earlier. So if I go transpose and I go like this, and if I go like this, hey, wait, no, that didn't do it. Or just... Is it function plus? By pressing to 0 by pressing plus and minus? Okay. Did it do it? Transpose. Transpose plus 7. I'm pressing plus and minus. What am I missing? Chat? It's now possible to reset keyboard transposition to 0 by pressing plus and minus. Is it keyboard transposition? Am I missing something? This is not track transposition. It's keyboard transposition. Okay, so let's see. If I'm at my keyboard and I go, oh, okay. Okay, that's what it means. It just resets the keyboard back to 0. Hey, that's actually really sick. You didn't see that. My bad. Here we go. So if I move my keyboard up, do you like my patch? I know I do. Let me see. It's going through here. Okay, so now if I move my keyboard up, hit this at the same time, it brings it back to 0. That's actually really great. I'm glad that's there. Okay, cool. And then it's just a bunch of bug fixes, which are not really fun to look at, to be honest. Well, let's see if there's anything that I noticed in the bug fixes. Parameters did not display their parameter values when they reached their max min values. Pressing and holding left and right keys did not scroll through the song row columns. Default pitch bend was incorrectly set to -128 instead of 0. Oh, that sucks. Inconsistent MIDI CC mappings, that's bad. Turning the knob counterclockwise while parameter locking the R time parameter did not. Yeah, I do remember that. That was actually really annoying. Attempting to create a directory with an empty name in the file browser resulted in the wrong error message. Well, it still resulted in an error message regardless. Subtract machines responded to MIDI messages outside the dedicated octave. Well, that's terrible. I'm glad they fixed all this stuff. Wow, they fixed a lot of stuff. Look at how many bugs there was. That's a lot of bugs. Oh boy, that's a lot of bugs. What's on my shirt? Why didn't anybody tell me this? What is this? It's a fuzz. Time to crack open the old LaCroix. Sponsor me. Okay, I did that long enough for them to hopefully take a photo. They squished a ton of bugs. A lot of bug squishing. Let's just, you know what we're going to do? We're going to drop back into, let's go into analysis. Let's play with analysis for a second. Here we have the chat and the Tonverk. I'm going to go to new pattern. Oh, let's go to a pattern that doesn't have anything on it. Okay. Let's grab a wave finder. And I want to pull up some new synth engines. Sine to additive. Okay, this is from one of my sample packs. And if you see anything weird inside my sample pack, like if I didn't copy over all my files, there's 1,000 of them, let me know, and I'll fix that for you. But anyway, these look great. I'm gonna hit yes right here. So this is a sine wave over to an additive wave. Additive gets you those really complex waveforms. They often start sounding like really thin though, I've noticed. Additive sounds. So let's load another one. Press down. This is so cool that we can do this. 2 wavetables. And let's start with like a super saw. Supersada, supersada. How about supersada noise? Here we go. I'm gonna turn this one down really quick and drop over here. That's cool. Let's grab another one. Oh, yeah. Add a chorus, and then also a daisy delay. My favorite effect on here, probably daisy delay. My goodness, it sounds so good. Okay, let's have this do some stuff, right? Oh my god. This sounds so incredible. Function yes. 128 because that's what I like to work in. Let's change it 128. Set the length at 128 because we are got how many? 8 bars. We can loop. You can always move through our pages like this still with our little indicator and still use our page loop at the same time. So that's pretty dope. Just throw down this chord here. Hey. Okay. And then our next page, let's go. I mean, I don't need page loop right now. Let's do that. So this is fine. This is fine with me. Honestly, I mean, I like the ability that I was on the other boxes that I can page loop just by holding the page button down. But I think this is fine. I think select page is more important to me usually, and then page loop becomes something I want to use a little bit later. Are we going to make some drum and bass now? We might. It's 1 o'clock. I don't know if I have time to make a kit. Okay. Wait, what did it just say? Loaded instrument. All right, that's how you know it's an instrument. Okay, pay attention. All right, go like this. We go like this. Is this the snare? Yeah, it is. Oh, stupid chord mode. Get out of here. The chord mode should not apply to subtracks. Can we add that in Elektron, please? Why would we want chord mode on subtracks? It doesn't do anything. I mean, you could make it do something, I guess. If we put chromatic notes across there, it would be a full octave of notes. But like, oh no, it wouldn't be a full octave of notes. It could be a full octave of a scale. A Western scale. Okay, anyway. Let's just do our classic. A classic drum and bass pattern. Make it 2 bars so that this kick pattern. Yes, it was duplicated. What did I do with my hi-hat? Oh, I did something interesting there. I didn't mean to do that. Let's get that arpeggiator in here. Here. Let's just borrow this chord really quick. Copy. Let's go here. Paste. And arpeggiator on. And excuse me. Do something, would you? Let's go for the whole bar. Was it muted? Oh, I haven't put a sound in there. Right. Put I guess Wavefinder, right? Since we're doing all of this wavetable stuff. Sine to supersaw. I never know what to do with that effect. Oh, that sounds cool. Okay, let's go back to here and let's do some weird stuff. Wait, no, we go function, memorized. It should be function memorized, then function recall. Not this like this. I don't know why they did that. Let's see if we get lucky here. my chord again? Right here? Is it on 7? Yeah, I think it was, no, it was on 6. This sounds so good. Bass banjo locked in. I know, it's just crazy. It does sound like it did sound like a banjo. That's the cool thing about like wavetables, is how good, like how they can sound like I don't know, like any other instrument. What if we go? Let's turn this guy to snap on. That sounds so tasty. That's crazy sounding, so good. I'm going to mute this. Let's try out this page loop, shall we? It's so good. That sounds so great. Holy smokes. What an absolute vibe. Pretty crazy. Alright, let's see if we can make something really gross. Because we're just making these pretty sounds. I'm sick of it. I'm super sick of these disgustingly pretty sounds. Let's go with these additive ones. Yeah, additive to square spectral. Let's throw in like a filter folder. Animates based on the other wavetable? I didn't even see this. Hang on a second. What? Make this mono. And it will animate, and this will animate based on wavetable 1? What the hell? Give me this. Actually, give me this. Oh my god, what actually, let's get rid of this compressor. So now we have wavetable synthesis, and we have a folder with a built-in filter, and we have a rectifier. I mean, what can't we do? That would actually be kind of cool. on a second. Wait, where's my... Maybe we have to turn this track down. Let's put a compressor on here. Oh, I just had an idea. Go to a new pattern really quick. How much time do I have? Not too much time left. Oh no, I have plenty of time. I have plenty of time. The TR-1000 is huge. The TR-1000 is huge. Hang on. No, we're still futzing here. I want to see something. Going back to Wave Finder. Putting in a wave. I want like a sawtooth wave. Saw. Mono, legato. Okay. We're gonna go make these 30-second notes. And I want a really resonant filter. We're gonna go. Yeah, we'll go like this. This one will go for 2 steps. And then we'll have Portamento turned on here. So we'll turn it off, have it on there. And then we'll have it on here. And this will be, this doesn't really matter. has the best distortion? Definitely not that. I don't think it's that. Routing. Send me to bus 12. That's my sidechain bus. Let's go to bus 12. Did I send that to the wrong bus? Is that what I did? I'll make track 3 can be my Ooh, what? That was kind of cool though. What? That sounds crazy. Copy this, paste it, copy this, paste it. What was I doing? Yeah, that works. Oh, man. I don't know if I care about the chord, but this part sounds sick. That's so sick. That's pretty sick. This is pretty fun. I still feel like there's a lot for me to learn on here. Like, there's still quite a bit for me to learn in general, just on the Tonverk overall. Like, where are the sweet spots for me with the wavetable synth in general? Or especially is what I mean to say with the wavetable especially. Where are the sweet spots? How do I want to use it? Like, what are my go-tos? The only wavetable synth that I've really played on very much is my Delia, which is in the keyboard form, and it's in the corner of the room. I don't use it as much because it's over there. And Serum, which is amazing, but it's on my computer and I don't make music on my computer very much. So this is kind of like my foray personally into wavetable synthesis in general, I guess. And so, I mean, I know how to use it pretty well, but as far as using it on the Tonverk goes, like, it's got its own workflow and I don't know it yet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have it muscle memoried in there, but I feel like I found some cool spots already, some cool ideas, like doing a seventh, like doing this 1/5 type chord progression that we're doing here, or where the sounds are a fifth. This one in particular sounds so cool. The bandpass filter. They're being sidechained. Over here. It's being sidechained from this track. Oh. I guess I could have that go into the sidechain too. We can see how that sounds. Oh, it already is. What if I take it out? Sounds good both ways. I've heard it both ways. This is an interesting idea too. You can actually, if you invert the envelope when you're doing sidechain, it'll do the opposite. So it'll just let audio pass through as an expansion instead of like compression, so to speak. Even though it's not compressing, right? But it's doing the, think of it as sidechain expansion. And it's letting things breathe when they hit a certain threshold, i.e. triggers, or this envelope depth. Whereas this ducks it in those moments. It's actually really cool sounding. That is too cool. That is a cool performance trick. We got a new performance trick. Now I wonder, is there another effect I could use? I guess you know what the problem with, I guess, does filter folder have a good filter selection? It does. It's got the high pass. I could use it. did I put over there anyway? Pretty cool. I mean, we're kind of just going crazy here. There's no doubt. But it was fun. All right. That's going to be it for me. I got some stuff I got to do. And I have some lessons I got to teach on these Elektron boxes. My name is Matthew, aka EZBOT. This has been a live stream on Tonverk OS 1.30. I believe that's what it is. And I believe we went over every single feature, and we really went hard at the very end here, just playing with the wavetable synth. And just kind of exploring what it can do, what it can sound like, where are the sweet spots, whatnot. I was using my own wavetable pack. There's a free pack you can get on my Discord. If you join the Discord, there'll be a link in the comment section down below. You can join, grab the free pack. I also have a pack of 1,000 wavetables on my Patreon and on my Coffee, and on coffee.com/EZBOT, patreon.com/EZBOT. If you want to get yourself a bunch of wavetables. And I'll be putting just tons more and stuff like that on there. Yes, very cool update. We're very happy about it. If you'd like to support this channel, you can visit patreon.com/EZBOT, join the Patreon, whether you do a paid tier or not. That'll support the channel just because it'll make me feel good. So how about that? Leave a nice comment down below. If you like what happened here, leave a really mean, terrible comment on some other YouTube channel, not this one, at any point in time. Sponsor me, LaCroix. If you know LaCroix personally, tell the company that they need to sponsor me, and they probably owe me a lot of money at this point for all the ads I've done for them. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Thank you everybody for hanging out. My name's Matthew, aka EZBOT. I will see you for the next live stream. I hope. Have a good one, folks. Oh, wait. Wait, I fooled you. We're not leaving quite yet. I'm playing a show. Come see me perform at the 4Bs next week. Next Tuesday, I'm playing. Let me pull it up really quick. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Hang on, this is important. That's the YouTube stuff. Don't look at that. Let's go to modbang.com. Whoops, look at that thing. What's that? That's not Modbang. Whoops.com. That was a little hippo. Events. Check this out. All right, cool. Come on down and see me perform. As well as via Snowden, Harker, and 2N3904 and visuals by Stacy's World. This is next Tuesday at 7 p.m. I'll be playing live hardware electronic music. Not with the Tonverk, unfortunately. I will be integrating that into my setup. Moo-dang. But I'll be... Shit. Just come on down and watch me play with some MA Tracker and Elektron gear. It'll be a good time. I promise. It's a lot of fun. Get yourself a fish sandwich or something. All right, folks. I'll see you next time. Damn it.